Hi, I'm Alexa Nunamaker. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at UBME. We're a local tech startup out of Bethlehem, right out of here, out of the Ben Franklin Tech Ventures building. Day to day, I'm constantly making sure that the company's on track and that overall we're being as operative and successful each and every day as possible. So much of that stems from the TE program. So I graduated from the TE cohort in 2021, but during my experience in TE, I actually got an internship with UBME. So that started about 2 months into the program, and I started off just doing their marketing as an intern. And then upon graduation, I received a full-time offer from them. And from there, I took over the marketing role at the company. From there, we've really had the opportunity to evolve and grow. We're an event marketplace, so we actually have been able to hire and bring in a much bigger team. So now I am officially the Chief Operations Officer here at UBME, and I give TE, all the credit for that. They made all the introductions. They have fantastic partnerships with so many local organizations, with so many companies that are local, and I never would have had the opportunity to be here without them. And it's kind of crazy now that it's 2025 and I've been with the company for almost 5 years. So it's been a really cool journey, and TE was a massive part of that. One of the biggest things that TE really taught us right from the get-go is that you wear so many hats when you're a part of a startup. A really cool thing about the program is that everybody's coming from different backgrounds. They're coming from having a design background, a marketing background, business background, but you learn so early on that you need to do all of that and you need to learn additional skill sets, and the startup life is no different. I have a design undergrad background, and I learned so quickly that I had to pick up the business and financial side of it, so having that element of it in the TE program was great. Yeah, so I think that prior to joining the program, I always knew that I was super creative. I always kind of had a little bit of the entrepreneurial bug, but I wasn't sure how it would all kind of fit into, a career that's that you'll be dependable on and everything. And through the program, it was actually through a lot of networking that I was able to really see everything kind of come to life. Our co-founder at UBME, David Bogard, he's actually a TE alum too. So he was the one who really got in touch to pull me in and be like, hey, have you ever thought about a tech startup? You're local, you're in the area, we think you'd be great for this. And I wouldn't have had those, networking opportunities, I guess, if it weren't for the program. But I think really just being a part of that cohort and having so many people from different backgrounds and different, skill sets is what kind of made me think, oh, a startup, could be for me. And also timing is everything too. I think had I not interned there for close to a year before getting hired, I think it might have been a little tougher to see, but I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. I loved it. I loved the long hours. I loved how every, achievement felt like such a big deal, and that I had a chance to be a part of that impact. And as we grow in everything, those little things just become bigger and bigger. That's a good question. So I was actually during the COVID year of TE, so we really didn't get a huge chance to be in person, but our professor Marcia she hosted a few in-person classes, and I think there were maybe 6 of us that would go to these, and we would sit 4 rows back from each other so that we were as distant as possible, and she made it such a fantastic experience. It was really cool how they were able to take one of the worst times for everybody and make it something that was still so meaningful. They just did a great job. My favorite project was definitely for the end of the year, our individual projects that we were doing. I decided to totally pivot from the first semester. All of the professors were like, Lex, you're gonna pivot right now. This is really not the best time to do it. But I was like, no, I think we can make this work. I think having the time frame and the pressure of fully pivoting a project we had been working on all year up until that point kind of gave me the crunch time. And I thought that was a really good learning experience to just not only push myself, but to actually execute it and have a full-blown product at the end. That's a really good question. TE overall just kind of taught us how to roll with the punches and figure it out. There are so many times I think in school or in life in general, where you don't always need to depend on yourself to kind of figure it out. Everyone's like, oh, things happen for a reason. Oh, I can go to somebody, I can have this. But TE just taught me that you need to make this work. Like if times are tough, you have to go and do it. You have to go out and raise the capital. You have to go and pivot what your original plan was for the product. You need to find another revenue stream. There are just so many things that if you don't do it, you're not going to succeed and the company could go under. And I think learning that in TE was huge because it teaches you how to adapt. It teaches you how to maximize opportunities, and it just teaches you how to be strategic. And I think that when you look, over the course of history of famous entrepreneurs and everything, all of those people have had to fail so many times before they could succeed. And I think learning to fail in the TE program essentially was really important, and I think it's how everybody who comes out of the program is actually able to better themselves and be really successful. A lot of what I use on the day-to-day is organization and management. We do use CRM softwares to kind of keep everybody on track. That was something that we did tap into with the TE program. Another thing that I found really useful, more of on like a knowledge base, is the legal side of it. The IP courses that we had during TE taught me so much, even just answering questions. Like when we go to these opportunities for investor groups, and when we're getting asked questions about how strong is your patent, how does it hold up against other things, how do you compete, all of those things I'm able to answer because we had a full course on it, actually a few sessions and courses on it during the TE program. So I think just having that background where I never would have had a legal course before in my life had it not been from TE, that was also really important. So in terms of the business and financial side, I remember that was a part of the program that everybody was like, oh no, not this. But Professor Lehman said, nope, you're all gonna have to do this if you end up at a startup. And he was absolutely correct. When it came down to our company, UBME, launching our event marketplace, having to outline and actually show potential investors where this makes sense and how it's actually going to be lucrative for the company was pivotal, because there are so many different ways that you can go about monetizing your product. You could have the best product in the world, right? But if you're not monetizing it correctly, it doesn't matter. Your company's out of business. I never could have imagined that the TE network would be as close as we are. There are so many people that I could just call up and reach out to, and as soon as you hear that they're in TE, they'll answer, so I think that's really cool. And obviously, as an alumni, I love when the future cohorts, like when they're reaching out. I love hearing about people who are interested in the program, maybe a little bit on the fence, but yeah, anytime Lehman wants us to jump on a call with them or kind of answer some questions, we're happy to do so. And that's just a cycle that they've built where year in and year out, everybody's happy to be a TE alumni. I would tell people to just go for it. The amount of work and the amount of time that's involved, it's just pivotal for what you're going to do in the future. I think TE sets you up for any possible scenario that you could ever have in life, and I think kind of going through it in like a safe environment where you have people who are going to help you out with it just sets you up for the future. Sometimes what I've heard from people is that, oh, I'm just not sure that I'm a fit, I don't have the business background, I don't have the design background, I don't have the marketing side of it, but none of that matters because you're going to learn it as you go. Just something that, has no price tag, so I would do it again in a heartbeat. 1000% TE is worth it, and not just from the job opportunities that it provides, but from the networking, from the friendships, from the skills. I know for a fact that if I ever needed to get in touch with any of my professors, they would answer right away. A few of my best friends are actually from the cohort that was 2 years after me, so 2023. Even people outside of the cohort. Marcia Timmerman, who was my professor, she actually invested in UBME not too long ago. So she went from, professor to now one of our investors, to kind of see how close we were when I was a student, and then to kind of, flash forward 5 years later, now she invested in the company I'm a part owner for. Something that TE gave me that I didn't expect was the actual career opportunity that I had. Kind of envisioned when I was there that my internship would be a really great experience for something else. Instead, I just fell in love with the startup life. I fell in love with the nitty gritty of it. I fell in love with having to wear a different hat every single day. The fact that it's longevity now for me, I think is the coolest thing. But I never expected to find my passion in tech. Didn't see myself 4.5 years ago, my first day of the internship, as being COO of the company. If I had to describe TE in one word, I would describe it as magnetic. I think that the professors just attract people who are curious into the startup space and who want to develop their own company, but I think the people within the cohort attract that same quality. The same thing can be said to the different partnerships that the program has. Good vibes all around. On a day-to-day, the TE experience was exhausting. It felt a little bit like Groundhog Day, except everything changed. Like one day you could be so excited for your presentation just to have everybody be like, this is going nowhere, financials are all wrong. You're like, oh no, guess I'm gonna completely pivot now and redo everything. I think there was a lot of that day-to-day, like I'm gonna pull my hair out kind of thing. Take every opportunity that you have through the program and just run with it, because as much work that you're going to be having, sometimes it kind of feels like, oh, do I really want to go take on an internship right now? Do I really want to go to this networking event? I say take advantage of all of it, because you never know what opportunities are going to arise from it. They're giving you all the tools to be successful no matter what direction you go in. TE is the most intense 10 months of your life, but it would be the most beneficial that you could ever have. Overall, I would say that the TE program was so fundamental from an educational standpoint, but I would also just say from a social standpoint, and it's really kind of quite intimate with everybody else who's in your cohort, and it's something that only you understand. If you're on the fence, or if you're not sure even that, entrepreneurship is the right thing for you, I would go ahead and do it, because you never know what's going to come out with it. You never know where it's going to take you and kind of what direction it's going to go in, but the program does shape you. Because of TE, I found my purpose and I found my passion in life.